What's going on, everyone? Welcome to this week's backtesting session, where I'll be going through week 39, week 39's missed trades. Um, Obviously, it's in line with the six-figure plan. It's called the 100K plan here, but the name has changed. Six-figure goodness. Six-figure plan. And we'll just keep checking, obviously, whether each trade meets um, the high time frame criteria, the trade parameters, and the entry confirmation as we go through each potential setup, of which there are four. Odd USD long, Tuesday, London kill zone, pound JPY short, Thursday, London kill zone, and pound JPY long as well on same day, New York kill zone, and then USD JPY long Thursday, New York kill zone. So yeah, I think without any further delay, first is odd USD long, Tuesday, London kill zone. Let's see. We would have missed it. I'll start that there. This was not on watch. From a high time frame perspective, we had achieved daily targets. The only reason I do have it on is because I am looking at trades that still looking at trades where once daily targets have been met, if there is significant continuation in that direction of the predominant trend, then I still want to identify whether there's potentially a gap in my plan that doesn't account for those trades. Not too interested in counter trend trades where the daily has already reached its, targets, but there's nothing to say that this daily target will be achieved and then price doesn't come way higher to these targets here without pulling back too deeply, or even to these targets as we've seen here, and that's a lot of profit that's being left on the table. So yeah, daily target was met, so we know that didn't really meet the plan. 4 hour still bullish. In terms of key indicator areas, what we have is a couple of areas. Got this order block here. Got this order block too, but I don't think it's as relevant. So yeah, order block invalidated. So we can essentially be long anywhere from here lower. And we see prices pulling back into there. Got a relatively clean 1 hour range. A few to choose from, really. We've got this major range here. And then we also have this minor swing there. I'll make the major red, just so that we can differentiate it and where it overlaps. We've got the secondary order block on the 1 hour. That's quite clean. It lines up quite nicely with this one here to the left, this large one here, but I guess just a bit more refined. That's within the 50% level of the major swing, and optimal trade entry of the minor swing. We also have a couple of fair value gaps within that area. This is what I just do on the 4 hour, the 1 hour. I just mark all the key indicator areas that are there that may provide potential entry opportunities. Obviously, if we break this one, there is another one below. That's a much deeper sort of correction. And so yeah, entry or long entry is in line with the 1 hour range. We're waiting for it to at least get into this minor swing EPD. We just come back to the plan. Obviously, high time frame is not met because we had mitigated. We are pro trend, but we've achieved daily targets already. Um, so coming to the trade parameters, strange. Um, Trade parameters, we in alignment with the 1 hour range, not yet at EPD, but we're looking for it to. And as we look for it to reach EPD, it will probably protract lower. And then looking for time-based liquidity sweep or some sort of key indicator area mitigation. So if we drop down to the 15-minute, look, we're still in Asian session here, so we'll let this run a bit and see if it does form any liquidity to sweep to the downside. So it has, if this is the area that it's going to sweep lower. What I also want to take note of is the, oh, so it's not even this range. Forms a whole new range. Interesting. So we've essentially got same areas, same 4 hour order block. Um, that's it. Literally at the close. Same 4 hour order block. And I can see it sweeps that liquidity. So this is arguably the liquidity that we're still going to sweep. This is going to be expanded up here. This is going to be expanded up here. And so our 50% is a lot higher on this minor swing. So too is it on our major swing. But to be honest, we're looking for the sweep of liquidity just because that's on the 15 minutes. Okay, there are a few options on the 15 minutes as well as key indicator areas. So I couldn't have just left it to that. Technically, we could have swept there. We could have swept here. So those are really all our options. We've also got this one-sided fair value gap on the minute 15. So we just got to see how price reacts to that. So we've got multiple areas we can enter off, but we obviously need 50% to be achieved on just this minor swing. So arguably, we can discount this because we'll need to come and sweep this low for that to be achieved in any case. So let's just see. Goodness. So yeah, this is before the kill zone open anyway. You can see that's been totally violated. Um, this has been violated. Um, this has been violated. We have swept this low here. We are deep within discount on the minor swing. We're at optimal trade entry area of the major swing. We are within that one-sided fair value gap on the 1 hour. The order block on the 1 hour, as well as the order block on the 4 hour. So this is the protraction lower. I'm assuming we have formed another order block here. Well, look, the protraction lower, it did protract lower before. I think this is a bit of inducement, but we form this order block now. secondary order block. We've traded out of it and we've retested that order block. I'll be looking just for this to hold, and the first bullish candlestick that meets then the other entry criteria to take this long. We've got a impulsive candle to the upside. On the 5 minute, do we have anything? We could argue that we've shifted this order block here to the upside, but I just want to rather look for 1 minute market structure shift, which we do have. You can see we corrected down into this area, swept this low there, came to the upside there to break that structure. And so just coming to our plan, yes, yes, yes. Proceed to entry confirmation, yes. Yes, we shifted. We got that micro time frame confluence. We just need to weigh up our risk to reward and then see if this meets the minimum. Stops below there. You can just put that at 25. And I can already see to the high, it doesn't if we're just targeting these highs. And with price and discovery, I probably wouldn't want to target anything beyond the immediate highs, so this wouldn't satisfy those the trade parameters in that sense. But what I will look for is if I set it at my minimum 1:3, do we achieve that, or do I just end up taking a loss here? 1R here for the half risk method, 2R there for 50% closure and partial profits, and then moving to break even. So we get 1R achieved, and we apply the half risk method. So we now have reached equal highs, which is good for us because we've now been able to take partial profits, and we can put stops at break even after 2R was achieved. Yeah. And we see where this closes out potentially. Potentially at break even, potentially goes further than that. I think our next trade is only on Thursday, so we may have, yeah, I think we've got time to wait for this. So arguably this didn't fill my order. The high came in at 69078 and 3R would have been 69080. So yeah, I think it was just one of those where on a different day, this would have just filled my TP and then dropped. On this day, it just filled my TP and yeah, then tumbled. Well, just missed my TP and then tumbled. Just did not do what I wanted it to do. So reason did not meet frame plan, not meet the criteria. So there was too many things here that didn't meet the plan, which is why I missed it. and the result was a partial profit. This one was a loss. No, this was a partial profit actually. Okay, then pound JPY is the next position. We've got a short on Thursday in London, and then we've got a long in New York. So there's a bit going on there. Um, let's just see from a daily time frame what we were doing here. So price pulling back deeper. This major fib within optimal trade entry area. This minor fib here for this minor swing. Just to keep it consistent, make the major red. That's well beyond 79%, closed above. The 4 hour was just aggressively bullish here the entire week last week, and I know we ended up breaking this to the upside. So what did I say it was? It was a short in London and then a long in New York. So coming down to the 4 hour, and I'll just go to Thursday, which is there, well, Wednesday. Yeah, so we're actually on Thursday. Okay. So in terms of what we got, on the daily, oh fuck, we're in this order block on the daily, right? So if I was looking at it purely from that perspective, obviously very deep within premium on the minor as well as the major. Look, we're in optimal trade entry area, not too deep, but we're in premium. But look, we're still in this order block. It's a daily order block. Um, Daily's bearish, 4 hour still bullish. But we've got these pro trend trades, these sniper entries, which basically call the top, where our 4 hour is typically going to be counter to the daily. We haven't shifted yet. It's the point where price shifts. Um, so I would have been looking for shorts. So I get that. Um, what we really need for that is just uh, we have it's counter trend, my entry's pro trend. So price just needs to have mitigated or formed an order block. So we have, and then trade parameters. Is price in alignment with the 1 hour range or not? That is the question. So I said there was a short opportunity. We're not in alignment with the 1 hour range, which means that it needs to be clear on the 15-minute. Is it? Is it? Which downside, sweep to the downside, held there, we swept to the downside again, distributed higher. I'm not so sure. Unless this sweeps, even here, sweep to the downside there, unless that sweeps that liquidity to the upside. So it's been clear that as we've generated this move over and above the sweep of liquidity here, We came from this low, we swept these lows, distributed to the upside. Came down again, swept the low, distributed to the upside, failed to sweep the low here. You see, failed to sweep that low, but eventually came, swept the low, and then we distributed to the upside. Is higher than this previous high. So there was a constant theme of sweeping lower, distributing higher. So in that sense, it was clear to the upside. And so pre-London, I would have been looking, um, I'm assuming, for this high to be swept. I'm saying there was a short opportunity um, during London kill zone, then this high needs to be swept for that short to have materialized. If the mistrade was this high being swept, then I think that's invalid. That's just in hindsight, not clear enough, depending on what price does next. Because we need the protraction, which seems like we're getting higher. So we've protracted higher, but then again, mm, okay, so 1 hour still closed within because this is now a new hourly candle. We should see a full retrace back into this order block. Okay, no, not done yet. Okay. Um, and that's more of like the double opposing that I think would have triggered the entry. But let's look on the micro time frame. Yeah, I can see on the 5 minute one-sided fair value gap that has been inverted. Mm, yeah. So 5 minute inversion of that fair value gap got this large um, bearish close lower, double opposing. We did have one here. Then obviously there was just some hesitation because of that bullish close, but we have essentially closed lower. I just want to make sure on the, well, look, let me put on the entry and frame it, but um, just want to make sure we didn't close above here on the hourly, but I don't want to do it after having seen how this hourly closes. So 55 pips, price above there. To be honest, this would have been a daily move, so I would definitely have been targeting maybe not extreme lows. It's 1:5 just to this area here. 1:8, it's like I wouldn't have targeted a 1:17, but these lows here, conservative enough. Um, so this 1 hour did close above here. Puts me off a bit. Um, but I'm going to see how this plays out. These conservative TP there, 1:5. Um, obviously just looking at 1R for half risk and then 2R for break even and partial profits. Bearing in mind that in New York session, there's a long opportunity that plays out. So just got to position myself for that as well. So 1 hour achieved. Can move stops to half risk. Um, and then now we are pre-New York, right? So arguably either looking for this low to break. So I'll either be looking for this low to be swept or this low down here for New York. But I mean, this would be a resistance trade given price has mitigated EPD. 4 hours counter trend. My entry is also counter trend. So the 4 hour, the 1 hour needs to be within a key indicator area. So just maybe looking at the 4 hour first. Oh, there's a few. So we either have this order block on the 4 hour. Um, it's actually just that 4 hour order block. There's nothing, there's no other area. So to be honest, I'll only be looking for the sweep of liquidity here. As a confluence to that, there is this one-sided fair value gap also here, which will be violated in any case. Um, so yeah, that's the only. And then looking at the trade parameters, the 1 hour range, obviously needing to be within EPD. So this is the current 1 hour range for the session. You can see we are within EPD. Looks like the trade's kind of going already. But yeah, we'll see if that comes lower at the open. But it's in EPD 1 hour range. We just need protraction. We need a time-based liquidity sweep. We've got the 4 hour order block. And so, yeah, if we sweep this, then I see where those longs were missed. Original position price at break even. We've got the half risk on, and yeah, just see how that plays out. So it seems like we are getting that protraction lower. No, we're gone. So the first position taken out at half risk, so it was a partial loss. If this is the protraction, then it's arguably not enough of one for me to take an entry. Also, there was no time-based liquidity sweep or key indicator area mitigation besides the 4 hour that was mitigated prior to the open. Um, which, yeah, may have been the area, but let's just see if this, yeah, that must have been the area. Um, so yeah, I'm taking it that then, look, there was this 15-minute key indicator area here. And this just seems like one of those that played out or materialized before the kill zone open, which are positions I'm not too um, familiar with or comfortable taking. This was the time-based liquidity sweep. I mean, it just shows that I need to be mindful that these positions can shape up. Um, so I see it just kind of played out beforehand. We impulsed higher, we got all our entry criteria. So this then, in fact, was, well, this was the protraction counter too. And then this was just the retest into that entry area before we then went off. But I wouldn't say, yeah, kind of missed it in the moment. But it was also for a setup that played out for the kill zone open. It just played out quite some time before that kill zone open. Look, all the criteria was met: sweep, fair value gap within a 4-hour order block. Um, I would have been looking for a bit more, perhaps, but just looking at uh, maybe not this. I would have taken the double opposing at the end of this, see if there was any micro time frame confluence. Maybe I'll just log this. Uh, short landing kills on reason. So the reason was Thursday I wasn't in the market on this day due to half day at work for a work function. So I just wasn't trading at all just because I had a few things to get out the desk. So it was a partial loss here. I just want to take this off so I can see the other ones clearly. From a 5-minute perspective, this 15 minutes, the second one closed at 4 o'clock. It only would have been this candle up here because I didn't get anything beforehand. Maybe there was a shift on the 1 minute. There was. That might have been the sign. And then just framing 65 pips seems reasonable. And in terms of targets here, that's quite a large stop. I'm worried I maybe won't get what my target is. If I just aimed for a 1s3, because it is counter trend. Yeah, I wouldn't want to aim beyond the 79% level. So just aiming for a 1:3. Given the counter trend nature, would have seen that there as 1R and then 2R. So stops would have been at half risk at this point. Uh, Partial profits taken and stops moved to break even. Again, yeah, so this would have been a full 1:3 if the minimum risk to reward was taken. And I think that's a note for counter trend positions, for positions when we're in price discovery, that just aiming for the minimum risk to reward when the upside target isn't so clear, or the downside target may be the best, or most efficient, rather, profit taking strategy. So reason was the same, was in the market on the day. Um, Full profit nonetheless. Maybe just going back to so long New York. USD JPY was similar in that sense. So here we had a daily order block, 4-hour bullish, coming within that optimal trade entry area. In terms of key indicator areas, did have this 4-hour one-sided fair value gap. So these are also resistance entries, because the daily is bearish, but the 4-hour counter trend, but we are within that EPD area. So coming pre-New York, it's priced within the 1-hour range. Not yet, but a protraction lower would bring us within there. And we've got a clear area here to sweep liquidity to the downside. Dropping down to the 15 minutes. Taking note of what else was in this area. We've got this order block here. And I just want to mark this area out on the micro time frame, or lower time frame rather, micro time frame actually. Yeah, so for New York, price seems to be heading lower. I think it's gone. I think it's gone. So are we looking too low? Did get that sweep there. For me, it's a resistance entry, so we needed to be within a 1 hour um, key indicator area. Um, came down lower. Look, arguably there's this 1 hour order block which I didn't really take note of before. In hindsight, I see it. That sweep of liquidity, and also something that led me to miss trades last week was this minor 1 hour range where we came actually into 79%. Only thing is, similarly to pound JPY, I think even if I had all those areas marked out, we completed prior to the open, like over an hour before. Um, and then impulse higher, then just before the open, we had some bearish movement. Um, so yeah, this one didn't shape up as clean. Um, and I think maybe because GJ was just clearer and that this was the only 1 hour range. We were within a 4 hour order block. We had the 1 hour fair value gap overlapping that. It was a much stronger move lower, which obviously characterizing the pullback into that entry area. And then obviously I think everything after that was the same. But this was like I missed this 1 hour order block because I didn't think it was that significant. I used the primary or the major 1 hour trend instead of this minor. So it just seemed like this trade needed me to read between the lines a bit more than GJ. And so even in hindsight, I'd probably be more inclined to take GJ if I had to see it again, or if I had to choose between the two. I would take GJ if it had to form again. But yeah, regardless, it was a low quality, I think, valid that formed. We had this bullish, we had the second bullish, so it would have been a double opposing that formed there. 50 pips, stop is reasonable with 1:3 minimum given we counter trend, and then just seeing if we met uh, criteria. Yeah, we did. Sheep there. So that's met. And we've got 1R there. 2R somewhere there. 1R has been achieved. So we'd move this to half risk. 2R is achieved. Move stops break even and take partial profits. and then full TP achieved at 1:3. That's obviously with the conservative TP, given that it's a counter trend position, we were already within daily EPD. Um, Arguably, I mean, we never know what's going to happen anyway, but it becomes even more uncertain when there's multiple valid entries that can take place at one point. So rather just be conservative with that take profit um, than optimistic. So this was the same Thursday, just wasn't in the market because of that work function. But this would have resulted in a full profit taken. So yeah, that's four trades for the week last week missed. One partial profit, one partial loss, and two full profits. So yeah, if we just take it on 1:1, partial profit would have been a 1R because I closed 50%. Partial loss would have been a zero point 0.5 R loss. So take that down to 0.5 profit. And then two full profits would have been 2.5 R each. Um, yeah, 2.5 R each. So that is 5% or 5.5 R rather. Um, yeah, if we add the zero point 0.5 that we're already on. So a bit left on the table, but closed out quite a bit last week as well. So it was a good week nonetheless. And yeah, we just look to continue identifying where the gaps are in the plan. Performance can be good, but it can always be better. And so we strive for that improvement, I think, for that growth always. And I think the more prime almost the mind to be mindful of these small things that I'm missing. Even these small things like this, three trades missed when, on one day because of a work function. If I see that as a recurring theme, then guess who's not going to work functions because these things are, it's not, you're not obligated to attend. It's obviously nice to, but I obviously don't want to get into the habit of missing positions if I don't need to. And so it's just about building the awareness to then be able to make a better decision down the line that obviously improves the outcome. Remember, guys, consistency is the choice you make when you start doing the things you know you should be doing